We often view Ultra Instinct as just another power-up silver hair, divine aura, the usual spectacle. But beneath all that hype lies a philosophical shift, a radical engagement with instinct over intention. This chapter sets the stage, defining what Ultra Instinct is, why it matters, and how Goku's journey reflects us all breaking free of our own internal barriers. Our analysis owes a lot to the road to Ultra Instinct, which frames UI not just as flashy transformation, but as a narrative arc, a slow burn toward mastery and internal clarity. That framing gives us permission to dig deeper than spectacle and ask the question, why is this really meaningful? Ultra Instinct is the pinnacle of combat evolution in Dragon Ball, where the body reacts entirely on its own, free of thought, and deeply efficient. The initial form appears during the Tournament of Power, often called Ultra Instinct Sign or Omen, allowing heightened reflexes but with limits. Mastery, the silver-haired form, transcends that effortless, potent, godlike. Think of it as a narrative reset. Goku abandoning conscious strategy and sparking a moment of pure being in combat. It's not button-mashing power, it's the presentation of lucid detachment under pressure. And when we pair that with the video's idea of a journey, it becomes clear that UI isn't just a form, but a story beat of self-overcoming. Long before the Tournament of Power, Whis' training subtly hinted at the possibility. Goku was learning to let go, to sense rather than predict. The road to Ultra Instinct underscores how this theme grew in every fight, Goku inching closer to instinctive mastery with each battle, rather than just increasing raw power. We're not just looking for another form. We're tracing the erasure of ego from battle. This chapter sets up our thesis, that Ultra Instinct is both a liberation and a burden. What does it cost to become that empty? What impulse drives a fighter to surrender control and succeed? Before Ultra Instinct ever turned Goku's hair silver, its principles were already woven into the DNA of his martial arts journey. What Whis does in Dragon Ball Super is not so much introduce a new idea as sharpen one that's been quietly shaping Goku since childhood. From the very beginning, Goku's earliest mentors pushed him toward what Ultra Instinct would eventually become. The ability to act without hesitation, to let the body respond instantly without conscious thought. Grandpa Gohan trained young Goku to react fluidly and trust his senses rather than overthinking. Master Roshi instilled the value of calm awareness in battle, reading intent as much as technique. Korin forced Goku to rely on pure reflex during the Sacred Water Challenge, pushing beyond deliberate movement. Mr. Popo honed his ability to sense and react to threats even without sight. Kami built on this by teaching the harmony of mind and body, a step closer to the no-mind principle. None of these masters called it Ultra Instinct, but the philosophical roots were already there. Even after his early training under Earth's masters, Goku's journey kept circling back to control, calm, and precision. When he reaches Yardred after his first battle with Frieza on Namek, Elder Pabara teaches him the fundamentals of spirit control, the same discipline behind techniques like instant transmission. Yardred training is not Ultra Instinct itself, but its emphasis on total ki awareness, inner calm, and moving without wasted motion mirrors the state of mind UI demands. Years later, when he trains under Whis, that philosophy becomes fully explicit. Your body should move on its own before you even realize it. Whis was introducing something brand new. He was distilling and perfecting lessons Goku had been encountering since Grandpa Gohan's forest, it's Master Roshi's dojo, and even the quiet halls of Yardred. It's from Grandpa Gohan's backwoods training to Yardrat's cosmic wisdom. Ultra Instinct was a sudden gimmick. It was the inevitable culmination of everything Goku had been learning his entire life. By the time UI emerges in the Tournament of Power, it's less of a new form and more of a flowering, the moment decades of subtle lessons finally break through into divine combat. But before Goku could let go and trust instinct fully, he had to be pushed past every limit he thought he had. The battles leading up to the Tournament of Power, from Golden Frieza to Goku Black, would forge the perfect conditions for Ultra Instinct's awakening. By the time the concept of Ultra Instinct became a reality in the Tournament of Power, Goku had already been tempered in battles that demanded he go far beyond brute strength. These fights weren't just about overpowering his opponents. They were about adapting, surviving, and stripping away hesitation. When Frieza returns in Resurrection F, Goku enters the battle as a confident Super Saiyan Blue. But this fight teaches him an important lesson. Raw power means nothing if you drop your guard. Frieza's near victory, aided by Goku. Split-second lapse in awareness shows the danger of overthinking and underestimating. In Ultra Instinct terms, this is a failure to fully trust the body without mental delay. Against fighters like Hit, Goku begins to experience the limits of relying on conscious strategy. Hit's time skip forces Goku into a state of constant reaction, pushing him to sense attacks before they happen, though he doesn't yet achieve UI. We see him start to tap into the idea of instinctive movement, anticipating without thinking. The Future Trunks saga forces Goku into battle against an opponent who knows his every move, literally wearing his own face. This is where adaptability becomes survival. Against Zamasu and Goku Black, relying on learned patterns is a liability. Goku has to break his habits and create openings through pure improvisation. Another skill that aligns with Ultra Instinct-S principles. Across these arcs, Goku is being pushed toward the same conclusion. The most dangerous fighters aren't always the strongest. They're the ones who can be read. Whether it's Frieza exploiting a lapse, Hit forcing constant reaction, or Goku Black punishing predictability, every battle chips away at Goku's reliance on conscious planning and power surges. By the end of the Zamasu arc, Goku isn't just stronger. He's been forced to sharpen his combat instincts to the highest level he has ever known. This cumulative experience primes him for the unique pressures of the Tournament of Power, where Ultra Instinct wouldn't just be useful. It would be necessary. The stage is set. With everything he's learned, from Grandpa Gohan's forest lessons to Whis' divine sparring, the Tournament of Power will push Goku into a fight so desperate, his mind will have no choice but to let go. And that's when Ultra Instinct will finally awaken. The Tournament of Power was just another test of strength. It was a survival crucible where hesitation meant elimination, and elimination meant the destruction of your entire universe. In that kind of high-stakes chaos, Goku would finally take every lesson from his life and reach the threshold of something only the gods could wield. From the start, the Tournament of Power was unlike anything Goku had faced. No Senzu beans, no second chances, and dozens of opponents coming from angles he couldn't predict. This environment was tailor-made to break a fighter's reliance on conscious planning. In many ways, it was the perfect stage for Ultra Instinct to emerge, a place where only pure reaction could keep you alive. Facing Jiren was different from fighting Frieza, Cell, or even Zamasu. Jiren didn't just overpower Goku, he erased the possibility of winning through standard escalation. Every trick, transformation, and strategy Goku had relied on before simply failed. The breaking point came when Goku absorbed his own spirit bomb after Jiren repelled it. The energy collapsed inward, creating an explosion so intense that it didn't just damage Goku physically. It shocked his mind and body into a state beyond conscious control. When Goku rises from the crater, it's not with the triumphant yell of a new transformation, it's with silence, focus, and a calm that unsettles even the gods. This incomplete form, known as Ultra Instinct Sign or Omen, manifests with sharper reflexes, autonomous movement, and an aura that signals something beyond mortal limits. Karthu's Dojo's video highlights how important it is that this awakening was framed as a traditional transformation moment. There's no extended screaming or slow hair color change, just an abrupt, almost eerie shift in how Goku moves. That presentation sells the idea that this isn't about more power, but a deeper mastery of the self. In UI Sign, Goku's dodges are so fluid they appear effortless, as though his body is predicting attacks before they happen. But this state comes at a cost. It's incomplete, draining stamina rapidly, and still missing the offensive precision needed to finish an opponent like Jiren. Goku's first Ultra Instinct activation is the physical embodiment of every lesson he's been taught. From Grandpa Gohan, trust your senses.
House.
From Roshi, stay calm under pressure. From Korin and Popo, react without overthinking. From Yardrat's Pibara, control your energy and focus. From Whis, let the body move on its own. The difference here is that for the first time, every one of those teachings is firing in unison, without Goku having to consciously think about a single one. But awakening Ultra Instinct was just the beginning. The incomplete form couldn't carry Goku through to victory. To master it, he would need to bridge the gap between reaction and offense, a balance only the gods themselves had achieved. Ultra Instinct's first appearance in the Tournament of Power was incomplete. A breathtaking leap forward, but still an unstable bridge between thought and instinct. The perfected version, however, would turn Goku into something else entirely. A warrior whose every movement, offense and defense, flowed without hesitation. The moment Goku's hair turns silver, the Tournament of Power shifts from a desperate survival match to a display of divine combat. This is perfected Ultra Instinct, a state where the body and mind are no longer in conflict. Every block, strike, and dodge is executed at the exact moment it's needed, without conscious decision-making, slowing it down. In Ultra Instinct Sign, Goku's dodges were flawless, but his attacks lacked the same instinctive sharpness. Perfected UI removes that weakness. His strikes now carry the same immediacy as his evasions, a seamless blend of reaction and action. Jiren, who previously couldn't be overwhelmed, now finds himself not only unable to land blows, but also unable to defend against them. One of the most striking aspects of perfected UI is its emotional tone. Unlike Super Saiyan transformations, which burn with rage or intensity, UI radiates calm. There's no wasted energy in yelling or powering up. This tranquility, isn't a sign of detachment from the fight. It's the source of its efficiency. As Whis once explained, a calm mind is faster than a focused mind. Even the gods watching from the stands are impressed and concerned. Ultra Instinct is a technique that even deities struggle to master. That Goku, a mortal, can achieve it in the heat of battle shakes the divine hierarchy. It blurs the line between mortal and god in a way no other transformation has. Perfected UI isn't free. Maintaining it burns through Goku's stamina and physical limits at an alarming rate. In the Tournament of Power, his body eventually fails, unable to sustain the state for long. This fragility becomes a recurring challenge in later arcs, forcing Goku to think of UI not just as a peak form, but as a flexible technique to be adapted. Perfected Ultra Instinct isn't simply stronger UI. It's the fulfillment of Goku's lifelong training philosophy. Every lesson from Grandpa Gohan, Roshi Korin, Popo, Kami, Yardrat, and Whis, distilled into a single fighting state. In this moment, Goku isn't just a fighter aiming for victory. He is the living embodiment of martial arts perfection. Yet perfection in battle comes with a philosophical question. If you surrender all conscious control, what happens to the fighter's will, their identity, their self in combat? This leads us to the deeper meaning behind Ultra Instinct, the philosophy of letting go. Ultra Instinct isn't just a martial arts technique. It's a philosophy that's been foreshadowed since the very beginning of Dragon Ball. From the quiet lessons of Grandpa Gohan to Whiz's divine training, every mentor in Goku's life has been guiding him toward one truth. True mastery comes not from control, but from surrender. Most fighters train to gain more control over their bodies, their ki, and the flow of battle. Ultra Instinct flips this idea. The goal isn't to command your body's movements, but to trust them so completely that command becomes unnecessary. It's the paradox of mastery. Only by giving up control do you truly achieve it. Long before gods and multiversal tournaments, Goku's earliest training already hinted at UI's principles. Grandpa Gohan taught Goku to listen to his surroundings and act without hesitation. Master Roshi emphasized calmness in a fight, the ability to think, or not think clearly under pressure. Korin trained Goku to move instinctively, reading opponents without relying on eyesight alone. Mr. Popo and Kami refined that awareness, teaching him to sense threats before they materialized. Pibara of Yardrat showed Goku how to regulate his energy flow with precision, making his body's responses more efficient. Whis crystallized it all into a single lesson. Don't think, feel, let your body move on its own. Ultra Instinct was born in the Tournament of Power. It was the sum total of a lifetime's worth of martial arts teachings. The essence of UI aligns with the real-world martial arts concept of Mushan, the no-mind state where thoughts, emotions, and hesitation vanish, leaving only pure action. For Goku, this is the ultimate expression of martial arts, becoming so attuned to the fight that there is no difference between thought and movement. Many gods can't fully master Ultra Instinct, not because they lack power, but because they can't surrender their own awareness. Goku's strength isn't just his physical skill. It's his willingness to learn from anyone, to let go of pride and experiment. That open-mindedness makes him uniquely suited to unlock UI's true form. But there's a subtle danger to Ultra Instinct. The more Goku enters this state, the less himself he appears in battle. Smirks, the banter, the fighting spirit that defines Goku, all fade into a serene, unreadable calm. In UI, he fights like water flows. Perfect, but impersonal. It raises a question. In pursuit of martial perfection, does he risk losing the joy that brought him to the fight in the first place? To answer that question, we need to look beyond the Tournament of Power, into how Goku's relationship with Ultra Instinct evolves in later arcs, and how he begins to redefine it not as a single form, but as a part of himself. The Tournament of Power may have been Ultra Instinct's explosive debut, but the real story begins afterward. Once the arena dust settles, Goku faces the challenge every martial artist dreams of and fears. What happens when you've reached the peak? For Goku, the answer is clear. The peak isn't a destination, it's a tool. When Goku faces Moro, we see the first signs of UI being more than a last resort transformation. Instead of holding it back for a dramatic reveal, Goku begins experimenting with slipping into aspects of Ultra Instinct mid-battle, dodging without thought, adjusting his stance without conscious planning. Wiz even encourages him to treat UI not as a separate form, but as a state of mind that can be accessed at will. This is Goku's first step toward integrating the technique into everyday fighting. Against Granola, Goku realizes that maintaining perfected UI isn't always optimal. Prolonged calmness burns stamina and sometimes dulls his aggressive edge. In response, he develops different versions of Ultra Instinct. A calm, silver-haired, perfected state, and a looser, more personal version that allows him to keep his natural fighting spirit intact. This balance between instinct and personality marks a shift. Goku is no longer trying to become UI. He is making UI work for him. What makes this phase of Goku's journey so compelling is that he is breaking one of the unspoken rules of the gods. Ultra Instinct has always been taught as something pure, detached, and free of emotion. Goku bends those rules, allowing flashes of his natural self to coexist with instinctive movement. It's not just Ultra Instinct anymore, it's Goku's Ultra Instinct. This evolution ties back to his earliest training. The calmness of Roshi, the awareness of Korin, the energy control of Pibara, the divine guidance of Whis, all of it is still present, but now infused with Goku's own style. It's the culmination of his journey from a wild kid in the mountains to a martial artist whose techniques rival and even surpass the gods. By the end of these arcs, Ultra Instinct is no longer Goku's final destination. It's a foundation, a lens through which he can grow even further. Every fight becomes another opportunity to refine the balance between instinct, emotion, and creativity. And in true Goku fashion, the idea of a final form doesn't exist. The path has no end, and that's exactly how he likes it. Ultra Instinct began as a shocking twist in the Tournament of Power, but its true meaning is far deeper. It's the living embodiment of Goku's lifelong philosophy. Stay open to learning. Adapt without hesitation, and never stop moving forward. From Grandpa Gohan's first lessons to Whis' final push, every moment of his journey has led here, not to perfection, but to the freedom of knowing that perfection can always evolve.